Hi everyone, welcome back to the Big Brain Academy YouTube channel. Today is the start to our middle school week, and our first topic will be symbolism for the big brain. So let's get started. So first, in order to understand what symbolism is, we need to ask ourselves the question, what are symbols? A symbol is an item or object that represents something else. So an example of this would be the heart. Now, the heart is the universal sign for love. So, whenever anyone sees a heart, they usually connotate the meaning of that to love. Now, knowing this, we can ask ourselves the question, what is symbolism? And we can figure out that symbolism is when you use an object or item to represent a different idea from the literal definition of the object. So let's get into some examples of how symbolism has been used in some books. First, we have fire. Katniss Everdeen, the girl who was on fire. You may recognize this quote from Suzanne Collins' The Hunger Game. Now we know that fire in this situation does not mean that Katniss Everdeen is actually on fire. Instead, in The Hunger Games, fire is used to represent passion, rebellion, and new comings. So when they say Katniss Everdeen, the girl who was on fire, it represents the new hope that Katniss Everdeen symbolizes. Next, we have an apple. In Snow White, the apple is given to Snow White by the witch, and after eating it, she falls into a deep slumber. Now this apple's symbolism in the movie is not just an apple. It represents evil, temptation, and dark intentions, since after eating the apple, Snow White falls into a deep slumber, which is the evil that the witch had planned beforehand, and the temptation is shown with Snow White's hesitance to open the door and eat it. Now that we've seen how symbolism is used in text, why do authors use this symbolism? Our first reason is to create meaning and emotions. For example, an author can use the color red to symbolize anger and further describe the emotions a character is feeling. Our second reason is to create thorough description. For example, an author could use fog to symbolize mystery or uncertainty and paint a picture through symbolism of the setting. Our third reason is conveying a complex message. An example of this is through the use of the word dawn, which can symbolize new beginnings. We know that dawn in the literal sense is just the start of a day, but through symbolism, we can use it to convey the complex idea of new beginnings in a society. Our fourth reason is to connect a story and theme. A common example of this is through fire, where we can connect the story of rebellion to a theme of destruction of a society through fire. Now that we know why authors use symbolism, let's look at how to identify symbolism in a story. The first is to look out for repetition of words. This is because if an author is constantly repeating words in a story, then there is an important message behind it that they are trying to convey with it, because writers always have a purpose. For example, repetition of rain in a story could symbolize sadness. Our second method is to focus on detailed descriptions. This is because if an author is excessively describing an item, you should think to yourself, why? Because they are doing it to emphasize the importance of this item. For example, describing a dress as luxurious, purple, and velvety usually insinuates royalty through its description, and this dress could hold more details to the development of the character. Our third method is looking for turning points in a story. Now this method is particularly important because turning points in a story can hold symbolism due to a big shift in tone or plot. Now, usually during these points in a story, authors try to emphasize a specific symbol. For example, an author could use a rainbow after a storm to show peace. And our fourth and last thing to remember is to make sure that the symbol is always explicitly stated in the text. Because if an author does not use a four-leaf clover, then you cannot say that it symbolizes luck in the story, since it is not part of the overall story. So, thank you guys so much for watching, and if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe to our channel. I hope this video helped clear any confusion you guys had with symbolism, and I'll see you all next week. Bye!